Hundreds of migrants arrive on New Year's Eve in the middle of a Chicago winter with no coats, some just flip-flops, and nowhere to go.
Last night and several nights before, a number of buses continue to arrive in the city of Chicago and throughout the country without any coordination.
Mayor Brandon Johnson on Face the Nation Sunday morning just after 350 migrants arrived on a plane to Rockford. He blames Texas Governor Greg Abbott for the unplanned arrivals.
And now he's taken on this very dangerous task of placing individuals on airplanes and flying them into our various cities.
Just after 1 this morning, 350 migrants from San Antonio arrived at the Rockford Airport. One of those on the ground coordinating efforts, Winnebago County Sheriff Gary Caruana, who says they got a heads up Saturday afternoon.
It did give us time to prepare, and we did prepare a plan. What the problem was they said they were going to get here around 9:30, and actually it was later. It was like 1:30 in the morning.
Once migrants arrived in Rockford, they boarded 8 buses for Chicago, all chartered by Texas Governor Greg Abbott.
We actually asked them from Winnebago County on I-90 through Boone County and then on into McHenry County, and that's where we dropped off and felt that they were safe, and then they moved on to allegedly Chicago.
The city of Chicago says it had no knowledge of the arrival until it received a heads up from officials in Rockford. Overall, nearly 600 migrants are awaiting placement in the city, and nearly 300 are at the landing zone trying to stay warm on a cold New Year's Eve.
For the first time since spring, no asylum seekers are being housed in Chicago police stations. That's according to the city, which announced the news Saturday morning. Since mid-October, more than 3,000 migrants have been living inside or near stations throughout Chicago. As temperatures dropped, however, Mayor Brandon Johnson pushed to move migrants to other shelters. Meanwhile, 190 new arrivals remain at O'Hare Airport while they wait for shelter placement.
From the 5th District Police Station in Pullman, telling migrants staying in their lobby to leave.
Out the station, out this lobby, all this junk out of here.
Junk referring to their belongings. Volunteers who work with migrants here telling us this comes after some of the asylum seekers were taken to a shelter Tuesday. According to them, those who didn't go were told by the officer they could no longer sleep in the lobby despite the frigid temperatures. Some of the migrants we spoke to say there was no more room for them. Others, like this man, didn't want to stay at a shelter. They say this feels like retaliation for staying.
People here aren't used to the cold at all. We've had a year to prepare for this. This is not a surprise, and yet we still have the city plan for new arrivals in Chicago is to be dumped on a sidewalk.
We asked Chicago police about this video and if their policy on allowing migrants to sleep in their lobbies has changed. They didn't provide comment, only referring us to the Office of Emergency Management and Communications. We're waiting to hear back from them.
I don't know for sure, but this is what I heard.
Okay.
That they got kicked out.
After hearing the migrants might have to spend the night outdoors, volunteer Jenny Leal and her sister scrambled to find an apartment where some of them could stay. They were able to take in 4 migrants tonight.
A harsh break for them, you know. They're out here in the cold, and this shouldn't be. This shouldn't be for anybody. We serve the homeless in Chicago too.
The migrants say they want work permits to be able to move into their own places. And although they say they're thankful to the officers who've allowed them to stay here so far, they say the way they're being asked to leave and stay out in the cold. And to CBS
season and a first for many migrants as they take pictures of something they're not used to seeing. But the reality of snow means cold temperatures as many new arrivals are without heavy coats, gloves, boots, and indoor shelter.
Sometimes the station hasn't been letting them inside during the day. We think that's changing, but it's not changing at every station.
Franzel and other volunteers brought coffee and hot chocolate to migrants at the 3rd Police District on the south side, where new arrivals must stay outside during the day. And while some kept their blood flowing with some sidewalk soccer, others huddled inside the entryway of the police station or inside tents. Volunteers say as the weather gets worse, living at police stations is no longer sustainable.
We try to tell them how, they can put tarps on top of the tents, and we have Mylar blankets inside, but it's not very helpful. They need to get into shelters.
Volunteer Arciela Guerrero has been organizing clothing donations. The city is providing warming buses at police stations. Plans for winterized base camps and more shelters are underway, but they're not coming fast enough to decompress the police stations. City Council's Immigration Committee Chairman, Alderman Andre Vasquez, says the governor must call on other cities to help.
We know what these Chicago winters feel like. We're going to see people get sick or worse. So anyone that's got any opportunities for shelter, any units, any neighbors who have anything, this is the time we have to step up.
With the temperatures dropping, Franzel has already seen migrants get sick.
I was here the other night and somebody called an ambulance for himself. He was like having really strong symptoms. He didn't have a jacket and he has a virus.
And until the winterized base camps are built and more shelters are found, the city is asking for churches to step up and take in some families, especially to get the young kids out of the cold. On the south side, Sarah Schulte.
Saturday morning, migrants seen getting off a bus from Texas and onto a metro train at the Westmont station. Asmel Raul Diaz Vasquez was one of the passengers on board. His final destination is Chicago, but the driver dropped them nearly 30 miles away. This isn't the only group left miles away from the city. In the past week, NBC5 confirmed it's happened in Elburn, Manhattan, Kankakee, Joliet, Westmont, Lockport, Fox River Grove, and Aurora. In at least 2 incidents, the bus drivers told migrants they made it to Chicago. In reality, in Kankakee, migrants were left at a gas station at 4:30 in the morning. Police received calls they were wrapped in blankets and walking on highways and expressways without food, money, or adequate clothing. We called the bus company out of Laredo, Texas, that dropped migrants in Westmont for comment.
This Thursday, hundreds of migrants were moved out of a South Loop police station. Asylum seekers staying at the 1st District Station were relocated to the recently opened temporary shelter at Broadway Armory Park in Edgewater, which has become the 16th temporary migrant shelter the city has opened. In the past week, migrants staying at 2 city colleges and select police stations have been relocated to the Broadway Armory Park location and the American Islamic College campus in Uptown. The ongoing relocation is a part of Mayor Johnson's plan to move people out of police stations and into more stable shelter.
Dropped off from Texas. CBS News' Sal Rizai live at Union Station this morning where we saw the last group come in from the suburbs. Good morning.
Yeah, good morning, Audrina Mugo. They arrived here from Hinsdale just yesterday, and it's likely we could see more arrive here today. Take a look at this video we have from those migrants being dropped off, getting off buses at a metro station in Hinsdale. They then boarded trains that eventually brought them here to Union Station. It comes as we're seeing dozens of bus companies from Texas going around city ordinances by dropping off asylum seekers in random area suburbs. Volunteers have been stepping up to help them feel welcomed as more are placed in shelters every day.
What better day to be out here to serve the community, to start the year off right. We're here just to show them that we're with them and they're not alone.
Leaders in Woodstock and Buffalo Grove plan to have special meetings today. They'll vote on ordinances that will look at fining buses that drop off migrants in unannounced locations. Right now it is unclear when and where the next group of asylum seekers will arrive in the city. I'm live at Union Station now.
Today we decided that we wanted to give back. So right now in Chicago, there's a lot of migrants from Venezuela coming over here. So we went ahead and bought them some McDonald's. We bought Happy Meals for all the kids and like some regular food for the adults. We gave one to one family that we seen. We drove around for quite a while. We really didn't find anybody, but they did let us know that at the local 14th district there was a lot of families. So we went ahead and stopped there and gave whatever left over that we had to those kids. As you can see, a lot of them don't have no shoes. So if you guys have any clothes or anything that you guys don't want anymore, you guys could always drop them off at your local police station to help a family in need.
The first group of migrants arrived in Chicago from Texas. Now there are more than 13,000 migrants living in shelters and police stations while they wait to be housed. Many volunteers are helping with the humanitarian crisis, but it remains a financial and emotional challenge for the city. Community leaders say the priority is on work permits and jobs.
If we were to expedite work permits, we could help the economy instead of hurt
municipalities. It should be the federal government who is stepping up and supporting migrants.
The city council has already approved $50 million to care for the migrants, but Alderman Ray Lopez says that money ran out at the end of June.
Once come together as one, there are people dying. Oh, when it's time to lend a hand tonight, the greatest gift of all.
Hello, how you doing, sir?
We can't go on pretending day by day that someone will see the change. And the truth, you know, love is all we need.
Y ellos ayudaban al inmigrante con ropa, comida, calzado, le daban al ojo para uno estabilizarse. Sí, claro.
Como no tenemos familia aquí que nos reciba, o sea, venimos así sin rumbo, pues.
Sí.
Entonces, Migración nos ofreció eso, bueno, nosotros venimos por acá. Migración nos ofreció eso, bueno, nosotros venimos por acá.